Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Amir Khan. In this video, we will be discussing about the different contract types and also which type of contract is more useful for you, which type of contract to use in which situation. And by the end of this video, you will be able to decide in a better way that which contract type to use based on which situation, which contract type has what disadvantages or advantages. So let's move on and discuss in detail. In project management, there are various different types of contracts available, and you can decide which type of contract to use based on the situation, based on the type of project, based on the risks that you have in your project. One of the very common type of contract which is being used in the industry, that is the fixed price contracts. Fixed price contracts are also called the firm fixed price contracts or the lump sum contracts. So the idea behind the fixed price contract is that when you as a buyer and your subcontractor, you are sitting together to sign the contract. At the time of signing the contract, there will be a detailed information or the detailed scope that will be mentioned in the contract, which means all of the requirements, all of the scope information, the quality, the quantity, the technical specification, each and everything has been submitted from you to your subcontractor or to your supplier. And once you both are sitting together to sign the contract for the whole work or for the whole scope, the total amount of the work will be mentioned in the contract. For example, it is $1 million. So that $1 million is for the whole scope of the project, and once the contract is signed, the price will be fixed. The price is fixed, the price will not change, but can only be changed if there is any change order. So that change order could be from your side, the buyer side, or could be from the seller or the supplier side. For example, someone wants to change the quantities or any other technical specifications. So based on that, the price may change, but in normal circumstances, the price is fixed. So that is the basic idea of the fixed price contracts. Now the fixed price contracts can only be used if you, the buyer, is providing the detailed information to the seller or to the supplier. If you are not giving any detailed information to the supplier, in that case, the supplier will not take the risk to fix the price and will never agree on that 1 million, because the supplier doesn't know that what is the exact scope of the work, and based on that, what are the risks or how much time it will take. So in order to use the fixed price contract, you as the purchaser or as the buyer must have to provide the detailed information to the seller. The fixed price contract is more suitable to you, the purchaser or the buyer, because you already know in advance that the total amount of the whole purchasing is going to be $1 million. So you already know that what is going to be the end cost of the work. Whereas it is not that suitable for the seller or for the subcontractor, because if the supplier or the subcontractor misunderstood the scope of the work, and then the supplier already fixed the price for 1 million, and later on the supplier determines that they misunderstood something and the scope was slightly different, or the technical specifications are slightly different. So in that case, all the additional cost, all the additional expenses will be paid by the supplier. But again, in every contract there are different terms and conditions which are suitable to both parties, but that is the basic idea behind the fixed price contracts. Another very useful type of contract, that is called the cost reimbursable. So the idea behind the cost reimbursable contract is that if you as the buyer don't know the detailed information about your own scope of work, but you just want to hire a subcontractor to start the work, and then later on you will see what is going to be the whole scope. So in that case, you will you will sign the contract, or you will hire a subcontractor, but there are no detailed information mentioned in the contract. So in that case, at the time of signing the contract between you, the buyer, and the seller, there will be a very brief information about the work that will be mentioned in the contract, but there will be no price mentioned in the contract, or it will be simply $0. So the contract is signed and the seller or the subcontractor will start doing the work based on their own analysis, and then they will see what is going to be the scope of the work. But all the expenses of the work, all the expenses of that procurement will be paid by the supplier initially, and then supplier will submit you the invoices at the end of every month or quarterly. That depends based on the contract. And once the supplier will submit you the invoices, then you, the buyer, will reimburse that money back to the supplier based on the invoices. So whatever amount the supplier has already spent into the project, you will have to reimburse that amount back to the supplier. Plus, on top of that, there is going to be some profit, some margin for the supplier. But all of that profit or margin, that depends on the contract, and everything will already be mentioned in the terms and conditions. Sometimes it is a fixed percentage that based on whatever the expense, the supplier will get 10% on top of that, or it could be a fixed fee that doesn't matter the expense is $500 or $1 million, they will get just $10,000 every month fixed fee as their profit. But that depends, and that we will see in the coming videos, that what are the subcategories of the fixed price contracts and the cost reimbursable contracts. So that is the basic idea of the cost reimbursable contracts, that initially it is simply $0 contract. Supplier will be paying all the expenses from their own pocket. They will submit you the invoices, and then you will have to reimburse that amount back to the supplier. The cost reimbursable contracts, they are more suitable to the supplier or to the seller, because the seller already knows that whatever is going to be the cost, it will be paid back to the supplier. So the supplier is on more secure side. There is no risk, there is no cost risk for the supplier. Whereas for you, the buyer, the cost reimbursable contracts are a little bit risky contracts, because you don't know what is going to be the total cost of the work. Because there is nothing fixed, there is nothing already mentioned in the contract. So it could be $500,000 or $250,000 or whatever, that depends. So you'll have to be very much focused. You'll have to monitor and control the performance of the subcontractor, and there are lots of other issues that we will see in the detailed video for each and every specific type of procurement. So these are the two major type of contracts, the fixed price contracts and the cost reimbursable. There is another type of contract which is called the time and material. So in this type of contract, the buyer and seller will agree on the unit rate for time and material. For example, you are hiring a painter, and definitely painter will come and do the work. The painter will paint the walls, for example. So you will agree with the painter that per day you will pay to the painter $100, and for every box of paint which the painter will consume, you will pay $25. So you will agree on the unit rate. So the time and material contracts are open-ended. You will not fix the days or the duration of the work. You will only fix the unit rate, and then later on you will see that how much time and how much material the painter has consumed, and then you do the multiplication with the unit rate to determine what is going to be the total cost of the project. So that is the basic idea of the time and material type of contracts. So these are the three major contract types. Any type of contract can be used based on the situation, based on the circumstances, based on your knowledge, or more importantly, based on the company policies. Because some companies, some organizations, they have already in their policy that we will always be using the fixed price contracts. We will never be using the cost reimbursable, or the other way around. So that is the basic idea of different type of contracts. And in the coming videos, we will take one contract type, for example, the fixed price, and then we will go into the subcategories of the fixed price contracts. And then in the next video we will go into the cost reimbursable, and we will see that what are the subcategories of the cost reimbursable contracts. So you can choose from the subcategories also that which type of contract you want to use in your projects. I hope you like this video. Subscribe to my channel and don't forget to share this video.